This video here is for the people that, some of the comments, man, about, your ancestors really didn't own slaves. Your white people, but most white people didn't own slaves. There was only like a small percentage of white people that actually owned slaves. Well, have you ever heard of African Dodger? See, African Dodger is a game that, Barnum and Bailey, which was like Walt Disney on Wheels, and Walt Disney, and you can imagine any little carnival fair or whatever would come around. And back in them days, that was very, very popular, especially like little small, some shit smaller than the state fair, you know what I'm saying? Little county fair shit, you know what I'm saying? Maybe less than that. But they had the demographics were to take this little carnival and this little game to. It was the most popular game, and it was called African Dodger. And what happened is, they would take an African man that, man, struggled to have it, man, whatever, man, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to feed his family, he's probably starving, whatever, man. I can't imagine what you'll be going through to do this right here, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta do what you gotta do. They would have them at the, we'll go to Barnum and Bailey and Walt Disney, and you work your way down, you know what I'm saying? Probably got worse, but they would have an African stick his head in like a bullseye. And then so many feet away, it won't real close, but goddamn, I don't give a fuck if it's across the yard. And you would throw the ball and try to hit the African in the head, and of course he would try to move his head around and try to dodge it, and you had a bullseye and all that goddamn shit. You had to hit the bullseye to get your prize. I guarantee you, they said one of the most popular games, or whatever, man, to play. And how many of your ancestors played that game? You might not have owned a slave, but then when the slaves were free, or freed, right? Yeah, I mean, really? You go there and pay you a little bit of money and try to hit him in his goddamn head. Yeah, and, I mean, a lot got put in the hospital, whatever, man, I'm sure. I mean, I know of a few, that I read about. I guarantee you, when that carnival came around, or that motherfucking Barnum and Bailey came around, or you went to goddamn Walt Disney, that was when you was in line to play that motherfucker, man. And see, these, I mean, we're the offspring of that bullshit, man. And they're the offspring of how that motherfucking shit ain't right, dude. That's just straight goddamn what? And check it. So, that's where the dunking, when you go to a carnival or something now, you throw the ball and you dunk the person. That's where that shit started from, African Dodger, man. And a lot of people get put in the hospital, man, shit, get busted up, whatever. And then sometimes when they wouldn't have an African Dodger, or wouldn't have an African to play the role or put his head in there or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They would use, poor white trash then. But of course, the poor white trash couldn't put his head in there and be white. Because it wasn't about hitting a human being in the goddamn head. It was about hitting an African in the goddamn head. Okay? Because that's where blackface, they would paint the white person or white trash, motherfucker, whatever, about almost in the same boat. Not really. But not in a good boat. They would paint his face black. Of course, that's where blackface, maybe not the original, but some of the very first blackface, that's where it started from. Because it wasn't about hitting a human in the face, it was about hitting an African. And they done away with it eventually. It went to dunking the African, something like that. But anyway, one of the last times, right before they put a stop to it, I think there was a major league pitcher, man. And he could throw maybe in the low 90s, man, high 80s and whatever, right? Very accurate. And he threw the ball and hit this African Dodger right in his mouth, right? And it pushed his teeth back to the back of his throat, literally lodged in his, because, I mean, you're talking about a major league pitcher, man. I mean, pinpoint, there wasn't no dodging that. And stuck the ball so bad that they had to cut the dude's jaw, right? Both jaws to get the ball out. Of course, the man eventually died. I don't know if he died on the spot, but he died, And shortly after that, they started fading away from that. But I'm quite sure there was still some, when you go into the small circuits, some small county bullshit, man, come on, man. It might have been against the law, but I guarantee you they still had it on the low. Um, anyway, and then there was another game that to me is like, this is it. This says it everything because I guarantee you. I mean, your ancestors did just played a part in this. If they didn't own a slave, they were all about this motherfucking game right here. I guarantee you they played it. You know, and on this alone, motherfucker, real talk. But they would take the babies, man, and sometimes they would. I think it was man, I forget how. Anyway, Mini Dodger, yeah. And they would throw the eggs, right, and try to hit the little toddlers or little babies, black, African babies, with an egg, right? Or sometimes you spit tobacco juice or lube, just spit on them, right? Try to hit them, and then and before they would have it started, it was like, I don't know why they got some kick out of this shit, but they would have to make sure that they fed the baby, nursed the baby, had the baby nursed till its stomach was really, really full, like it had overeat, man, and then it was going to spit up anyway, and then you put it out there and you're hitting it with the spit and everything that you're hitting it with, or the eggs, and then it starts to spit up, and actually, man, there was some babies that have died like that, choking on the vomit, or somebody lose so much shit on their face, they can't really breathe, they can't get their hands up there to wipe it off and stuff, right, and kind of suffocate, and yeah, that fucking shit happened, dude, and you sit right there and done it, man. You know what I'm saying? You didn't, but your ancestors did, so they might not own a slave, but to me, I mean, goddamn, that's just goddamn bad. You know what I mean? Goddamn. So guess what? You are guilty, motherfucker. No slave, but you might have done even worse, dude. You might have done even worse, man. And then you talk about, I think somebody else on here said something like, yeah, black people hadn't done nothing in 3,000 years or some bullshit like that. And, I mean, you gotta look at Black Wall Street, right? They built that motherfucker, man, and there was a few other places, man, that was booming like that. And I know Wilmington had a couple of places. There was one in Wilmington. I don't know. There's a few, man. Look into it. There's a few, but the worst one I'd say is Black Wall Street, right? Yeah, and cause man, I posted on Facebook, right, and I had this white dude man down here. He's like, man, that's bullshit, And then he went with the original version of the story, how they cover shit up and how they whitewash every goddamn thing. And, it was a mild thing, and there was a few blacks killed, a few whites. Of course, it was all the black people's fault and everything. But they had like 30 city blocks, man. And they had their own little thriving place, man, across the tracks from the white Tulsa, And very successful, man. And they built that shit. And remember, they left with no capital. See what I'm saying? But they hadn't done nothing. But anyway, there was some shit went down. I think a black kid was getting in the elevator in the white part of town. He was taking care of some business, of course, and a white girl was in the elevator, and it startled her, and that startled, man, they grabbed the black dude up and, claimed he had did something, and then they got into a little skirmish, a shot went off, somebody got dropped. The next thing I know, or the next thing they knew, the next thing I've seen was the motherfuckers, man, they bombed the motherfucking place, man. The goddamn National Guard, they looted, they took every goddamn thing, man. They burnt like 30 fucking city blocks to the goddamn ground. And killed, I know, 1,000. It could be more. I think I've heard estimates of maybe up to 3,000. Not really sure. Something that, this is something a lot of people don't even really know about. But there's people still alive. It was at least a few years ago. That was kids that remember walking around and seeing them push a mass amount of African Americans into these graves, man. And the most fucked up thing is they were gonna try to rebuild and shit, right? And so what Tulsa did, they made a city ordinance, man, some type of shit like that anyway, where if anything had been burnt completely to the ground, to ash, in that, those blocks in that area, whatever, man, then it could not be rebuilt upon. Not like that, it could not be rebuilt upon. And unless you jump through all kind of hoops, they didn't have it. They didn't have the money. And I mean, come on, man. They pretty much got ran up off that motherfucking place, man, with nothing. They got nothing, nothing. See, none of them motherfuckers owned slaves that done that shit. And that's closer to, I mean, that's our ancestors and shit, right? But generational wise, man, that's closer to us now than what the slavery was. And they did that shit in a lot of places, man. In a lot of goddamn places. And we ain't even go into the lynchings and shit, man, that happened. I mean, hell, I know in 1977, I first started to read kind of good, man. We were coming home from Wake County, from Raleigh, coming in Johnston County where I live, and there was a sign even then that said, and this is the 70s, said, welcome to Klan country, right? And then it said, no, it said home of the Ku Klux Klan, home of the Ku Klux Klan, right? Johnston County, home of the Ku Klux Klan, and then it said, welcome to Klan country, N-word. I was like, and I mean, I even had my, it got took down. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I mean, that's another story, man. But anyway, I mean, you're guilty of that. So your ancestors are guilty of that. Maybe not owning nobody's slavery. Oh, I ain't own nobody. Man, that's even worse. So pay up, motherfucker. Pay up, Hector Wood. And I'm gonna end it right there, man. Hey, and if you don't believe, look, go to NBK, New Black Knowledge. I think it's New Black Knowledge, NBK, True Story, man. It's got real good videos, real good information, man. I can go in way better on it than I can. And this for white people. Check it out, man. Check it out, man. I mean, black people too. I mean, you know what I'm saying. But you know, for all them motherfuckers that had something slick to say about slavery and they didn't own one of them white people and then we were slaves first, kill the slavery, man. We're talking about after slavery now. And that's where you really owe the motherfuckers that motherfuckers. Everybody, dude. That was everybody. Peace.
Why, hello there, neighbor. How goes it?
Fine. You get a new boy yet?
I'll have one before the day is over.
Well, I guess I'll see you later then.
That's okay, right on the inside. Here you are, folks. Step right up. Your show's just going to start once again on the inside. You see this little game we have over here?
Yeah.
That's what they call the African Dodger.
Oh.
Now, I usually have a little colored boy that stands behind there, places his head in the hole, and the natives come along and throw the balls at them.
Oh.
I sell them 3 balls for a nickel. Boy here yesterday.
Oh, you had a boy yesterday?
Sure, I had a boy yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Where is he today?
Well, you see, a baseball pitcher came along, and by mistake...
He picked up the iron ball.
You get a boy?
Well, I should say, and I've got one I don't think you can hit.
What about that little colored boy I hit yesterday?
Well, what about it? Whose fault was it?
Well, whose fault was it?
Well, whose fault was it?
It was his own fault, wasn't it? Where's he now?
He's in the hospital, that's where he is. His nose broken in 4 places, all on account of you throwing that iron ball.
Oh, gee, that's kind of tough for him.
Yeah,
That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Who is this guy?
Well, that's the fellow that hit the colored boy with the iron ball in the head yesterday.
Oh, that's the reason the colored boy's in the hospital.
He's the reason.
Well, that ain't gonna be the reason the white boy will be there tomorrow.
Now, wait a minute, just a minute. Come here, listen.
Ouch! Ouch! At least on this job, the rest of me is safe. Unscratched even.
I sell the balls to the natives, and then they throw them at the colored boy.
Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawada from GMS St. Petersburg, Florida, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahawah, Bahashem, YAHAWASHI, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the 4 corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here lesson dealing with this African Dodgers or mini Dodgers scenario that you see in these here videos, you know. If that don't move you to any kind of way, you know what I'm saying, I don't know what to really tell you, man. Hey, the more and more we find out about the atrocities that's been done unto the Israelites, all right, let me start with that first. All right, once you find out about all these here atrocities, man, you know what I'm saying, it gets under your skin some type of way. All right, this is Daniel chapter 9 and verse 12. It says, and he confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us by bringing upon us a great evil, which was all these curses that was written in the scriptures, and also Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He's part of those curses. All right. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as have been done unto Jerusalem. So the fact of the matter, when you look at this African Dodgers and so on and so forth, all right, where, you know, hey man, like anybody who's been to a fair, you've seen the same damn game. It's just been a little revised. You know what I'm saying? Where you have to throw the little ball at the clown sitting on the little thing over the water tank. I think it's called a dunk tank or whatever it is called now. All right. But nevertheless, back in those days, as you see, they was throwing baseballs at Jake. All right. So-called Negroes. All right. They would have the, like a regular grown man or a young boy. And then they would have like babies in there or really young kids in there. All right. And they would put their head inside that little hole and they would throw a baseball at their face. You know, he was trying to hit them in the face, man. Just imagine just accidentally getting hit in the face with a damn baseball, man. First of all, a baseball is hard. Just imagine accidentally getting hit in the face with a damn baseball. All right, that shit's gonna hurt. Now imagine being like purposely hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you the target. Your face is the target. This is what I'm trying to hit to get all the points. You know, it's just like you know, you might be walking with a friend or whatnot, whatever, and that friend, you know how Jake talk, they talk a lot with their hands or whatever, whatnot. You might be walking beside your friend, you see what I'm saying, and you know, they might put their hands up or whatever in a conversation and accidentally hit you in the face, right? Well, you know, on an accident, right? This isn't being done purposely. You know, it might hurt a little bit, whatever, whatnot, because it kind of catch you off guard, but it's nothing like as if that person like purposely went straight forward trying to just knock you out with like one of the Mike Tyson goddamn left hooks. That's a completely different thing. You see what I'm saying? But this is what was going on to our people, man. All right. And as you can see in this African Dodgers type deal, all right, this is where, you know, it is way deeper than that. People are like, oh, well, that's over with, so on and so forth. But the mentality of these people has not changed, man. They just redress it up, you know. They just put all right, put it this way. You know, I'm like the same today, tomorrow, and yesterday. The only difference is I just changed outfits. You know, you might see me wearing blue today. Then tomorrow you might see me wearing red. The next day you might see me wearing green. All right. But all of us, you know, all in all, I'm still the same person. I'm just changing clothes. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's that guy that's always in a green suit. Oh, but now he's in a red suit. Or now he's in a blue suit, but it's the same person. You see what I'm saying? They just dressed it up a little different. All right. So as you see with this here African Dodger game, all right, it goes into the dunk tank and things like that. But nevertheless, using Jake's as the target. All right. When you fast forward into today's terms, this is why when you go out to the damn shooting ranges, the so-called like the silhouette of the human being there is a so-called darked out person. You see what I'm saying? And what you wouldn't realize, you know, of course you're trying to have a you know, when you target practicing for things like that, and you know, when you in situations like that, you obviously, you know, you're using your weapon for let's say protection and things like that. When, you know, let's say you go into the shooting range to get your concealed weapons permit for defensive purposes, right? And defending yourself from other people, you would kind of want a target that looks like a you know, the shape of a person or whatever, whatnot. But it's a lot deeper than that, all right? Because first of all, you know, Jake got guns too, but Jake ain't really going to no shooting range and shit like that, right? Only sophisticated Jake is going to the shooting range. You know, maybe Jake who got a legal gun, you see what I'm saying, might have them some so-called white friends or whatever, whatnot, that bring them to environments like that. Nevertheless, when Jake be strapped up, they get their target practice when they in the heat of the moment. You see what I'm saying? Or they might be out at the 4th of July or New Year's or whatever holiday, whatever, whatnot, and they letting their rounds off in the air. But nevertheless, you don't really see Jake going to the shooting range like that. Not as much as these Edomites go. All right. But nevertheless, these Edomites, all right, when they target practicing, what do you think they practicing on? All right. With the silhouette of you, Jake, in mind. All right. Just like how they was doing with the African Dodger or mini Dodger and things like that, man. These things have been being done, all right, out of the hatred in their heart towards us. All right. So this is nothing new. All right. This is for our people. We need to understand clearly who our enemy is. Everything he does, he's showing you how much he hates you. But it's something that it's like a Jedi mind trick. Our people is going to hell and back just to prove that the so-called white man is not their enemy and that the so-called white man loved them. When the so-called white man is spending trillions, if not billions of dollars to prove to you that he hates your ass. All right. Planned Parenthood, drugs and alcohol all in your neighborhood and shit like that. You see what I'm saying? Poor education systems and things like that, which all that education is bullshit anyway. But comparably to what he give his children, all right, like the No Child Left Behind, or you know, some of this Common Core type of shit that they got going on, whatever, whatnot, is aimed to just further destroy you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, this is nothing new with the so-called white man, because what he has in his heart. Let me grab that real quick. Genesis 27:41. It says, and Esau hated Jacob. That's what's inside the so-called white man's heart. He has a hatred for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, this is where so-called racism. This is the real true definition of what we would think of as racism, you know what I'm saying, on the planet Earth. Because you don't really have these other nations that's banging on each other like that. You see what I'm saying? You don't hear about no damn racism like that per se. All right, you'll hear about, like, let's say the so-called Arab man don't like the so-called white man based off of you know, certain things that they want to do. I'm like, yo, y'all just bombed our country. Of course, you know, this is retaliatorial. You know what I'm saying? This is in response to that. But nevertheless, the so-called white man and the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, this hatred has gone back all the way up to these times that we're reading about now. This is nothing, how do I say? This is nothing new under the sun, man. This goes way back. All right. That so-called hatred and racism that you see is really between the so-called Negro, well, between the so-called white man and the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. The so-called white man has the hatred towards the Israelites. All right. So it says Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So he hated you. And he said in his heart, well, let me just keep reading. It says, and these words of Esau, her elder son, was told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob her younger son and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, does comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. All right. So Esau said in his heart that, hey, he want to kill his brother Jacob. All right. Then he said, look, I'm not going to be comforted unless I kill your ass. You see what I'm saying? It's like a baby that's crying ain't comforted unless they either get their diaper changed, they get a bottle or a pacifier. One of those things is probably bothering the child. They uncomfortable. So now they crying because this is the only way they know how to communicate to get into that comfort zone. Right. But the way that Esau is going to comfort himself is like that baby crying. In order to comfort that baby, you need to give it a pacifier. The only way to so-called give Esau this here pacifier is for him to kill off you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So it's no surprise that in all of the little things that he do, all right, it's not remnants or it's not reflective of his inner thoughts, his inner like what his inner purpose for our people is. All right. His inner purpose for our people is to kill us. This is what he planned, and his purpose is to do. And not only that, he makes mockery about these things. So, you know what I'm saying? It would have been nothing for him to just take out little black children or regular, black people at that point in time, so-called black people, and just take them out back and shoot them in the face. It's nothing for them to do that. That was nothing. But homeboy want to have entertainment purposes with that. Like, you know what? We'll take these little nigger babies and put their head in a little hole, and we'll have, baseball, people who could pitch like a baseball player, goddamn throw a damn ball at the little nigger baby face, and hopefully we can break his skull, man. And one of the videos I was watching on this African Dodger thing, they was talking about how one of these dudes wound up throwing a damn baseball so damn hard into this young Jake face that the ball wound up getting stuck inside his jaw. They had to basically break his jaw, or his jaw was already broken, but had to further break his jaw to remove the damn ball out of his mouth. Then the boy wound up later on dying, man. You see what I'm saying? It would have been nothing for you just to put a goddamn bullet in his little young Jake head and just call it a fucking day. But no, you had to take it to the extremes. Like, we gonna play with this nigga before we kill his ass. You see what I'm saying? But what? Hey, man, the Most High got your number called, man. Your ass is grass, man. There's no escaping this shit, man. All right, and for our people who still cleaving to the so-called white man, like, I just had a so-called black woman get on my channel talking about something. Just for your information, the Arabs is the so-called, Esau's the so-called Arabs. I'm like, this stupid black bitch. Like, and not nothing against our women, but any motherfucker that's of our people who can't see who the fuck is oppressing you. All right, you think that the Arabs is the one that's oppressing you? First of all, if you're going to make a statement about Esau, you know who Jacob and Esau is. So you would probably think, you didn't refute that I'm saying that you the Israelite. So if you know you an Israelite, all right, but you think that the Arabs is the Edomite, or the Arabs are the Edomites, the fuck, you don't know who is oppressing you? You don't know who brought you over here in slavery? You don't know who the fuck is gunning you down? All right, so people like this, who got this in their mind state, still want to be on a so-called white man's titty, man. They gonna die right along with his bitch ass, man. We don't have no pity for our 2/3 of our people who want to be cooning and shit like this with the so-called white man. All right, but this is just to show how far destroyed we are, man. All right, that same fucking black bitch woman, all right, and not saying anything against our people. I say the same thing about our men who be in the same ass predicament. All right, but the same bitch who's talking about this shit, not realizing that that little boy could have been her brother, her father, her son. You see what I'm saying? These same people that you want to take up for is the same people who was doing this to your people, man. Not to mention they was taking your ass out back, gang raping your ass till your ass fucking died. You see what I'm saying? Little 12-year-olds and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Taking y'all ass and raping the fuck out you until you fucking died. Come on, man. But you want to say to somebody else, the Arab man, what the fuck did the Arabs do to you in recent times that you can remember that is oppressing your ass? These motherfuckers is worried about bombs being dropped on top of their head that your ass is paying taxes to finance the bombs on their head. But yet you think that's your fucking enemy. Your tax dollars is going to fucking kill these motherfuckers over here and you calling him your enemy? No, nigga. The white man is your enemy. Look around. This is the motherfucker doing all this shit. Look at his history. How the fuck did your black ass get here? You didn't get over here because you wanted to come over here. This motherfucker raped your ass and brought your ass over here. All right? Then separated your family. Then programmed your simple ass mind to sit here and think that he is your so-called your buddy, your friend, and that everybody else is your fucking enemy. The so-called black man is trying to tell you and raise up our own people who our enemy is and that we need to come together and come back to the Lord. You want to come against us being your own fucking people that's exposing the so-called white man for all the atrocities he did and jump on his goddamn bandwagon. That shit go to show how far gone our fucking people are, man. All right, both men and women. You see what I'm saying? This ain't got shit to do with women. This just so happened to be a woman who put this shit on my goddamn page, and all I can think about is like, yo, bitch, you got the nerve to come against somebody that, first of all, let's speak carnally. All right, you got to come up against somebody that look just like you, another so-called black person that's so-called raising up your people. All right, you got to come against basically me to basically, and this ain't me being hurt in my feelings. I get a lot of these stupid motherfuckers saying this. I can get it if Esau, these other nations say it. They ain't supposed to get it. But for our own people, like, motherfucker, you been stomped out your whole fucking life, and now somebody trying to reach down and help you up, and you want to cuss that motherfucker out? You have lost your rabbit ass mind. And this is why the Most High is going to destroy your wicked ass, man. This is why 2/3 of our people got to be destroyed, man. All right, because look, the men of the Lord are going out day in and day out, week in and week out, exposing the wickedness of this goddamn devil and the shit he's been doing to our people. But yet our people still want to be on the bandwagon. Well, I don't want to be a part of that. The white man can't be saved. Or what you mean all white people is the devil? Or what do you mean the white man can't be saved? Or the white man ain't Esau. The white man, I know I'm Israel. I know I'm Jacob, but the white man ain't Esau. The Arabs is Esau. But the Arabs ain't doing shit to you, man. The Arabs is under the goddamn foot of the goddamn white man too. You see, Saudi Arabia is like the most dominant people over there in goddamn the Middle East. But guess what? America was like, yo, y'all want to be with that fuck shit? We can make y'all disappear in a week. It ain't no problem for us, motherfucker. Y'all just be another goddamn sand dune out here. You see what I'm saying? So the Arabs they are your enemies, but this is not your main adversary. Esau Edom is the so-called white man. This is your enemy. Videos like this is exposing this motherfucker day in and day out, but you won't see none of these motherfuckers come out and refute this. Like, you know what? That's fake. That's fake. You know what I'm saying? You photoshopped that video. That's some fake ass shit. No, the motherfucking white man is coming out telling you this is what the fuck his history is. This is what the fuck he been doing to you bum ass niggas, man. All right. But at the same time, our people want to be stuck in this goddamn folly, man. This is why 2/3 of our people going to be put to death, man. All right. And then when the shit start hitting the fan, for basically the elect, the 1/3 and the 144,000, when we already gonna be comforted by the Lord, because we already know what the fuck going on. 2/3 of our stupid ass people gonna be trying to come and cleave to us, but we're gonna be like, nah, bitch nigga, stay out there with your goddamn white man master that you want to die with. You gonna die right along with his ass. The Most High ain't got no time for your bullshit, man, and your pettiness, man. All right, the Most High is serious about the shit he doing right now. He's serious about waking his people up and bringing them up out of captivity. But you want to stay into this hellhole. You want to stay up under your oppressor, man. You want to cleave unto him instead of going back to your power, man. What's wrong with our people, man? Our people have lost their motherfucking minds, man. These people are just, they so far gone, man. Our people are so far gone, man. But this is, and we coming out the scriptures letting you know what this motherfucker is doing. It would be nothing for me to come on the internet and make videos about how much I hate the so-called white man and this nigga ain't shit. This nigga smell like a wet dog. This nigga can't dance, can't move, ain't got no. I could do this shit for days, but that ain't the point. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go through the scriptures and tell you what the Most High had already done gave you a description of what you would be. And we just showing you the motherfucking devil, and your future is death and slavery, death and destruction, man. This is what your future gonna be for you so-called white people, man. And if 2/3 of our people gonna want to keep cleaving to them, and your ass gonna be grass right along with their ass, man. We don't got no time for that shit, man. We coming for this goddamn kingdom, man. We coming for these niggas to be our slaves, man. For the shit that they done to us, man. We coming back to repay these niggas for all the shit that they done to us. But 2/3 of our people want to be like, forget these motherfuckers and shit like that. Your ass gonna die right along with their ass, man. Line your ass up right beside these Edomites. We gonna run through your ass too, man. All right. And I really hate talking bad about my people and talking about putting my own people to death. But at the end of the day, man, this is why the Most High talk about that. The 2/3 gonna get put to death, man, because of shit like this, man. All right, we coming out here showing you all the atrocities, and if anything, you should be mad with the person doing this shit, not the fucking victim. Like, let's say, for instance, let's say I was a woman, me and another woman, right, both getting raped. Right? We both getting raped by the same man, right? And I'm like, yo, man, this nigga raped me. Oh, he raped you too? Yeah, he raped me too, right? But then now you gang banging on me because I'm like, bitch, I'm a victim too, motherfucker. Like, I got raped by the same nigga too. If you want to be mad at his ass. Don't be mad at me. You see, I'm a victim too with this shit, man. Come on, what the fuck? We in the same boat. But nah, our people got to be goddamn stuck on this simplicity, man. All right? Salakia for my spirit, man. But this shit just raised up my spirit, like, to the ultimate max. All the shit that the Most High doing for us right here, right now in these times, and our people still want to cleave to this shit. The whole world know who the fuck the so-called white man is now. Everybody else calling him Esau Edom. Everybody else is addressing you as the Israelites now. All right, but yet you still want to think of the Arabs, and they even address their own self. They know who the fuck they are. They say, no, we're not Esau, Edom, we Ishmaels, you stupid motherfuckers. This is who we are. We fit exactly who we are supposed to be according to the scriptures. That wild man who was separated from everybody else, that would be him. He was blessed with to dip his foot in oil. They the ones got all the goddamn oil. We got prophecies on them too. We can go into the scriptures and point them out of who they are, but this ain't about them. We don't give a fuck about them either, man. Our eyes on the prize on the heads of these goddamn Edomites, man. This is who the fuck we coming to take down and put them into captivity, man. All right, this is our arch enemy, man. And for anybody else of our people who think that our arch enemy is somebody else, man, your ass gonna die right along with the so-called white man, Your ass is grass right along with their ass. I don't know what the fuck your advice should be. You probably should go kill your goddamn self, man, to save it for yourself. Because when the Lord turn up the spirits on his men and start running through you goddamn people, these heathen and the rest of these people, man, your ass is gonna be grass too. Let me grab a precept off of that. This Daniel chapter, 12 or 3? Or 4? This is Daniel chapter 12 verse 9. And he said, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end, which we in the time of the end now. Let me jump up. Verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book even to the time of the end, which we just read. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So the Lord's got the men of the Lord out here on the highways and the byways and on the internet videos, letting your ass know what the fuck's been hidden from you. We giving you all the gems right here, right now for free. All right. Jumping back down. Verse 9 again. And he said, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the times of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and trod. That's talking about you, like you people that's listening to my videos, you know what I'm saying, of the hopeful elect, you 1/3 and 144,000, the ones of you that get this and oh yeah, I get it. I get what the Most High saying. Yeah, we see this. This was just talking about you right here. It says, many shall be purified and made white. Why? Because your ass was filthy as fuck to begin with. But what? You came and acknowledged your sins and your transgressions. You wound up cleaning yourself. You was baptized. You was made clean. All right. This is what's going on with 1/3 of our people and the elect, especially the people that subscribe to my channel that's watching these videos. You know what I'm saying? You already get it. You being made white and purified. You're being made pure. All right. But it says, but the rest of them, the 2/3 of our goddamn people, it says, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. First and foremost, the wicked, the Esau Edom, he ain't gonna understand because this ain't for him. All right. Like the scriptures say, all the families that are on the earth, the Most High has only known us among all the families of the earth. All right. He's only dealt with Israel. He gave him a law and the statutes and commandments. And he only dealt so with Israel, no other nation. So not just the so-called white man, the Arabs, the Chinese, none of these motherfuckers is going to be able to get it. All right. But talking about our people, 2/3 of our people, they ain't going to get it. They're going to see all kind of videos like this and like, y'all just some haters. Y'all just some racists. You just hate your own people. You just this. No, motherfucker, that ain't the case at all. All right. We acknowledging the damn wickedness that the so-called white man is doing. Obviously, you keep taking up for him. What the fuck is that about? You see what I'm saying? Not only did he ruin your life so bad that you don't even want to, you're not even comfortable being you. All right. That's how bad the so-called white man has ruined your life, that you ain't even comfortable being you. You want to be him. You don't want to associate yourself with the rest of your people. You want to associate yourself with them. You don't even want to live around your own people or be comfortable around your people until you think you made it when you living next to his ass. You see what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. But continuing on, it says, many shall be purified and made white and trod, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. So when you have these stupid people coming on the comment boards or whatever, whatnot, especially on these videos, and I believe she wound up commenting on that video about the curses falling on Esau, Edom. All right. And I'm like, well, like, bitch, did you listen to the video? Do you not see what's going on? Did you not, like, I don't want you to believe anything that I'm saying. I want you to go out and do your own research on it. Look at the news articles, read the articles or whatever was going on. Look at the numbers. The curses are falling on these motherfuckers. They the ones dying off like this. It ain't the Arabs that all these curses falling upon like that. Yeah, they getting their destruction. This is why the so-called white man is blowing them the hell and back. But at the same time, all the curses all the things that they done to us is now falling upon their ass. Like, this ain't falling upon these other nations like that. It's falling upon the Esau Edom, the so-called white man. So, you see what I'm saying? Like, yo, you didn't even watch the video. You didn't get none of the understanding. And all at the same time, you just want to come on and further destroy your own people. Like, what kind of shit is that? You see what I'm saying? This is why 2/3 of our people got to be cut off and they got to die on this side, man. All right, because they're not going to get it, man. All right. But now let's go back into Esau Edom with his old crooked ass, because this... You see what I'm saying? Like, this is the motherfucking enemy we supposed to be banging on, all right? We shouldn't even have to have no room to be gang banging on our own people and shit like that. That shit is retarded, All right. But at the same time, we understand that according to the scriptures that 2/3 of our people are going to be cut off. And these are the reasons why. They want to keep cleaving to the so-called white man. They don't want to let their oppressor go. All right. So going into Obadiah chapter 1, verse 10. All right. It was only one chapter in Obadiah. Obadiah 1 and 10. It says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. These are the words of the Most High. The Most High is saying this. All right. So the scriptures say that the so-called white, well, it says for thy violence against thy brother Jacob. All right. All these different atrocities you've been doing, hanging us, lynching us, taking us into slavery. Like, hey, just going back to that woman that commented, she didn't say anything about goddamn, her being an Israelite. So obviously, you know you're an Israelite. Well, if you know you're an Israelite and you in captivity, who the fuck brought you into captivity? You see what I'm saying? Was it the Arab man that brought, well, actually the Arab man, sold your ass from took you from the East Coast of Africa to the West Coast of Africa in the sub-Saharan slave trade. That did happen. Yeah. But further than that, it was the so-called white man who brought you in the transatlantic slave trade and brought you into the predicament that you're in right now. All right. But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying? Our people want to forget about all that. Like, well, yeah, I know I'm an Israelite. Well, how you know you're Israelite? Yeah, I was brought over here on slavery. By who? The so-called white man, but he ain't Esau. Well, the scriptures say that your enemy was going to do all these things. The Edomites would do all these things. You over here trying to put this on the Arabs when the Arabs didn't bring your ass over here like this. All right. The Arabs ain't sit there and so-called go out and say, I'm about to pick me a nigga, a picnic, all right, and then barbecue this nigga on a goddamn tree and lynch this nigga and castrate him and send his goddamn penis to his homeboy in a goddamn jar to put on his fireplace. Nah, ain't no shit like that happened from the Arabs. It was the goddamn so-called white man who was doing these things, all right, who's still doing these things, all right. It's the so-called white man that's got you 2/3 is out there screaming Black Lives Matter and shit. It ain't the Arab police that's shooting your people down, all right. It ain't the Arab people that's putting tainted water in your water supply. It ain't Arabs that's sitting over here goddamn implementing Planned Parenthood and shit like that. It ain't the Arabs' history that some of their history is fucked up comparatively to us, and everybody's is, but the so-called white man is the icing on the cake, man. He didn't overdone it. All right, let me just read the scriptures because it's gonna go into it. Like I said, the fact of the matter is, like, yo, it's all in the scriptures. All right, you just not either A, you're not reading the scriptures, or B, you reading the scriptures and the Most High still got your ass blinded. The wicked ain't gonna understand. All right, Obadiah 1 and 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. All right. And this is what 2/3 of our people fear right here. 2/3 of our people fear that the so-called white man is going to be cut off forever, and they ain't going to ever get to see they goddamn, they master no more. They're going to be crying and sad because the so-called white man going to be gone. They're going to be mad because they ain't got, the so-called white man to be out here killing out they sons and their daughters and shit like that, man. The fuck is wrong with our people, man? All right. Our people is fucked up in the head, man. It says, in the day, talking about Esau here still, it says, in the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that strangers carried away captives, his forces and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them. But thou should not have looked on the day of thy brother and the day he became a stranger, neither should thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of his distress. Hey, the African Dodgers thing, we was already fucked up into slavery and shit like that. Well, really, we was kind of coming up out of that. But at the same time, these motherfuckers is like, you know what? They already down. Let's just further make mockery of these little nigga babies, these little nigglets, and put their head in the goddamn circle to where they can't move. And we're going to just bash their whole fucking face in. You know what I'm saying? We're going to bash it in to the point to where they just basically, at the end of the day, they're going to wind up dying anyway. We're not really concerned about preserving their life or making it to where they ain't going to get hurt or injured as they do today. Well, you go to the carnival or the fair nowadays, they pretty much have the same thing today. All right. But what? Sometimes they might have a white man in there in a little dunk tank. But what? He's sitting on this little seat. All right. Now, the thing that you aiming for, he's inside this whole cage to where you can't even hit him. All right. But what? They have him sitting on his seat and the seat is on the lever and you aiming at the lever, which is on the side of him. You're not even throwing the ball nowhere, remotely close to him. All right. You're trying to hit a lever that's going to dunk him in the water. All right. But back in those days, all right. And like I said, in these days, they make it to where he's protected, where you can't hurt him. Their plan and purpose isn't to hurt or kill the person that's inside the damn dunk tank. But back in those days, at the end of the day, you knew that this person was going to wind up dying. How many times can you get hit in the face with a goddamn baseball, can't move, can't defend yourself, can't block your face? How many times can you get hit in the face or in the head with a fast flying baseball, hard baseball before your ass? They talk about concussions in football and shit like that. How many times can you take a baseball to the face before you get brain damage, eye pop out, your mouth, your jaw get broke, teeth get knocked out, you get brain damage, or you just fucking die? All right. You see what I'm saying? This is the shit that they've been doing to our people, man. They continue to do to our people, man. All right. And not just this case. This is a million other cases. You see what I'm saying? I'd be here for years amongst years on end, just bringing out the case of the shit that they done to us. All right. There's a book called Without Sanctuary. Look into that book, talking about all the damn lynches and the barbecues they was having with us. All right. But continuing on, it says, verse 13, thou should not have entered into the gates of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou should not have looked upon their affliction in the day of their calamities, nor laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamities. So while we was down, you should have never goddamn kicked us while we was down, more or less to say. Neither should thou have stood in the crossways to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither should thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of his distress. For the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. So the Most High saying, look, like the scriptures say, you know, the Most High say in the scriptures, it's a righteous thing to recompense those that trouble you. All right. So like here it says, look, it says, as thou hast done it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return unto thy own head. All right. So out of all the shit that you want to do to us, we gonna want to doing this shit to you 1,000 times over, man. All right. Let me see if I can grab what is that? Yeah. This is perfect. I don't know why I didn't put this into the scriptures that I had lined up, but I only had like 3 scriptures lined up. But nevertheless, hey, this is how the Spirit works. Psalms 137:7. Remember, all right, remember, not forget. Forget, oh yeah, I need to forget about that. That happened in the past. Forget about that. Nah, the Most High say, look, that which is past is required, man. The things that you didn't wind up doing, you got to pay for that shit, all right? So here in Psalms 137, it says, remember, O Yahawah, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundations thereof. That's just like when you, going back, well, first of all, that's going back into what, 70 AD and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, like, let's say you seeing somebody getting stomped out, right? Or somebody, a crowd of people is gathering up. You see somebody that's kind of like timid. They don't really want to fight. And somebody else just all up in their face. You know what I'm saying? And they wind up knocking this person down. They on the ground pounding them out. The person screaming and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, help me, stop. I don't want no more. But you and the rest of the crowd is just gassing them on. Yeah, stomp that nigga out. Fuck that nigga up. Take that nigga shit. Nah, don't let up. Knock that nigga out, man. Fuck that nigga. You see what I'm saying? This is what Esau was doing, basically. You know what I'm saying? Metaphorically speaking, you know what I'm saying? And right along with cheering him on, you over there getting your kicks in. Man, fuck that nigga. And you over there kicking him while he down too. So the same thing. When we was being destroyed, you was out there cheering it on, and then you was part of it. All right? Psalms 137:7. Remember, O Yahawah, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundations thereof. O daughter of Babylon. All right? Whoa. Salakia. The water YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI, man. Hey, I'm going to come back with this on a whole other lesson because, some people, on the spirit, this stupid bitch talking about, Esau Edom is the fucking Arabs and shit like that. Well, how come in here, verse 7, all right, it says, remember, O Yahawah, the children of Edom. All right, so this is who we talking about. Verse 8, O daughter of Babylon. All right, so all these people are talking about this, it's talking about the same people, but here it's clearly saying Edom is the daughter of Babylon. Right? Or Babylon the Great, that you read about in Revelation 18. Or when you go to Jeremiah chapter 49 and Jeremiah, 50 or 51. You see what I'm saying? Like when they're talking about the least of the flock, it should draw them out. You see what I'm saying? Hey, man, it's letting you know it's clear as day in here, man. So for people who, for people like that, of our own people who will come on these type of videos and don't want to hear what's being brought out because the proof is right here in the scriptures. And this is what our job is to do, to bring out these here what's evident in the scriptures, all right? Not to just sit over here and read a couple books out the Psalms, make you feel good or whatever, whatnot. Nah, we breaking this all down to who is who and all these things, and showing you forth in the world how this is all being played out. Not only are we reading the scriptures, we showing you how it played out in the world, all right? So there should be no excuse for none of these things, all right? Our people just keep being stuck and stumbling on these small ass stumbling blocks, but this is gonna be the shit that's gonna get your ass killed in that day, man. All right? Going back into the scripture. It says, Psalms 137:7. Remember, O Yahawah, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundations thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. So it says, happy shall he be that rewardest thee as thou hast served us. So we just read, reward them double. As thou hast rewarded us, we're going to pay them back double, right? Happy shall he be that taketh and dashes thy little ones against the stones. Now, when you might first come across this for the first time and read about this in the Bible, you might have to be like, hold on, God. Wait a minute, God. What you talking about taking some babies and smashing them up on some stones? Wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? But then the more and more that the so-called white man has been exposed for his iniquities and the shit that he's done, and you read, like, hey, when the Lord give you the wisdom and knowledge and understanding of these here scriptures, you can go from precept to precept, like how we just read, how it says that here, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us, and reward her double as she rewarded you. Pay her back. Hey, it's a righteous thing to pay a motherfucker back for the shit they done to you. All right. So when you go back into our history and to the atrocities, like I said, we're not just reading scriptures, man. We also reading the scriptures and showing you in the so-called, not to say the real world, but out here in history and things like that when these things happen. So talking about happy shall he be that taketh and dashes thy little ones against the stones. Wait a minute. But the Lord said it's a righteous thing to repay them back the things that they done to you. Go back into your history. Look up the dude that's on, I think it's a $20 bill, Andrew Jackson. All right. This little evil motherfucker right here who had the, they call that the Trail of Tears right out here where I live at. All right. This is where they started, 15 minutes away from where, but maybe about 15 minutes away from where I live at. All right. 15, 20 minutes away. There's a place where, a lot of these Seminole Indians, all right, a lot of the so-called Seminole Indians was living in, and a lot of them still live there to this day, man. All right, like literally there's like a city inside of a city. All right, there's two small cities inside of a bigger city where these people live at. All right, now these people, matter of fact, if you want to look it up, it's Oneiko, Florida, and Samoset. All right, these are places where a lot of Reuben, the so-called Seminole Indians, lived. All right, and a lot of Indians as well. U.S. Highway 41. If you out here in Florida, and some places out here, they'll tell you some places it'll be called Tamiami Trail. All right, Tamiami Trail, which is also U.S. 41, which also goes from as far as I know, it goes from Florida, Georgia. I mean, now I know that from me actually driving on that there road, but nevertheless, I know that it also goes up to, I believe, was it Indiana or Iowa or some shit like that? One of those places up there where they wound up marching in so-called natives too. All right, but nevertheless, U.S. Highway 41 or Tamiami Trail is also known as the Trail of Tears. All right, there's certain places here where I live at where they'll tell you about that, and they'll give you the little sign and telling you like, yo, this U.S. Highway 41 Tamiami Trail of Tears. This is where the natives was marched basically on a death march to their damn death. All right, and when you go into that history, which was implemented by with the Indian Removal Act, all right, from Andrew Jackson, all right, this motherfucker was the one that was doing this shit, right? What he would do is he would march the people up north, even into the snow and shit like that, with no covering or nothing like that. Pretty much, basically transporting them from one place to another place, but in hopes that they would all die before they would get to the exit part. All right, but nevertheless, as they was walking, when you had these pregnant women, all right, some of the things that they would do is they would take a pregnant woman. All right, this is where they get your C-sections from. And notice the only people that they really pushing C-sections on are you so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American women. It's not really the white women that they pushing C-sections with. Go around and ask how many of these so-called white women who have had babies, how many of them have had C-sections. Not very many. It's a whole lot more Jake women getting C-sections than the white women. Why is that? Going back to like this African Dodger, why do they have the black cutouts around these targets on target practice? All right, going back to the things they was doing in their past. All right, so when they have these C-sections and they pushing on our women, all right, when they was marching this so-called Native Americans up on Trail of Tears, they had these pregnant women. They would take the damn pregnant woman and cut her stomach, all right, so the baby will fall out, and then they would just take the baby and either stomp it out, all right, take the baby and by his feet and smash it on the stones, or take the baby and smash it on a tree. All right, this is what the so-called white man was doing. This is a part of our history, man. This is what they've been doing to our people, man. All right, you know, mainly with the native tribes, the Northern Kingdom, but hell, they was doing the same shit to us, the Southern Kingdom, in what, abortion. All right, never shit. We surpassed the number that died in World War II in abortions alone, man. There's a lot of people that have been dying off at the hands of the so-called white man. All right, especially our children, our babies, man. So it says, let me read this all the way over again. Psalms 137:7. Remember, O Yahawah, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundations thereof. So these niggas, while we was getting stomped out, they over here getting they licks in too. To fuck that nigga, man. Kill that nigga, man. Fuck that nigga. Don't let him up. Don't let him breathe. Fuck that nigga. You know what I'm saying? They over here kicking us while we down. All right. It says, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dashes thy little ones against the stones, man. All right. So what? You know what I'm saying? You can go back and watch this African Dodger video or whatever, whatnot, and you see, man, them little jakes that was up there and so on and so forth, man. That should put you in some kind of way, man, when you see these damn devil-ass babies, man. These little devil babies. This is what's gonna happen today. This is their future, man. This is what's coming to them, man. It's not gonna be nice for them in the future, man. All right, and for people who stumbling over people cussing and shit, like, hey, man, the Most High's got prescribed to be taking they motherfucking babies, putting them in chains, and just straight annihilating their ass. All right, from the shit that they done to us. You worried about cuss words, motherfucker? We gonna be goddamn separating babies from their goddamn necks to their spinal cords and shit like that, man. All right, from the shit that they've been doing to us. That's all written in the scriptures, man. All right, and you're gonna be happy about it. You ain't gonna be, oh, that was violent. Let me read it again. Psalms 137:9. Happy shall he be that taketh and dashes thy little ones against the stones. See what I'm saying? Come on, man. This is going to be payback and retribution for all the things that they wound up doing to us, all right? And it's a righteous thing to pay them back for all the atrocities they've done to us, all right? So let me just get back to going into this judgment that this goddamn white man is guaranteed from the Most High, all right? This Ezekiel 25, and start at verse 12. It says, thus saith Yahweh power, because that Edom, the so-called white man, have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance and have greatly offended by revenging himself upon them. All right, African Dodgers, lynching, barbecues, castration, separating our families, Planned Parenthood. You see what I'm saying? What they call redlining or whatever, whatnot, or syphilis experiment. You see what I'm saying? This is really going into Judah, but like, hey, just like the topic, African Dodgers and so on and so forth. But really, they've been doing this to all of our tribes, man. All right. Verse 13. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, the so-called white man, and cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay vengeance upon Edom. So the Most High said he's going to lay vengeance and pay the Edomites back by the hands of my people Israel. And they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith Yahweh power. So just as a quick side note, if you worried about the minute of the Lord, when our spirits get raised up and you hear us cussing and talking about slaying these motherfuckers and shit like that, that ain't us. That's the spirit of the Most High. Wait a minute. You as a human being, you got kids. You see somebody raping your kids and killing your kids. Just imagine that. You done visually seen some random psychopath rape and murder your kid right in front of you. How you gonna feel about them? Well, you know, 2/3 of our people probably would forgive them. But anybody in their right mind, like, yo, we gotta kill this motherfucker, man. Fuck justice and all that. Justice is me killing this motherfucker, man. Off rip. You see what I'm saying? So this is how the Most High feel about what's been going on to our people, man. He said, he that toucheth you touches the apple of my eye. You shouldn't have fucked with my kids like that. You see what I'm saying? So the Most High is not in no, oh, you know, we're going to take Esau out of power, you know, but don't go out there and cussing. We don't want you to be speaking like that, you know, and which these words that we speaking ain't really even no real words to begin with. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, our people are stumbling over that when they don't understand the Most High is, our spirit it's not even our spirit. It's the Most High spirit that's dwelling upon us that you hear, first and foremost. But second of all, this is the spirit of the Most High. He pissed the fuck off. This is why he coming back with his vengeance. All right. This is why the Most High is coming back to bring death and destruction and judgment, because he pissed the fuck off. All right. Let me read that again. It says, verse 14, I will lay vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger, not according to me, myself, and I anger. I can't get as mad as this shit. You know, me and my own carnal flesh and this and that. I'd be like, you know what, fuck it. It ain't happened to me. Whatever. I don't really give a fuck. But really, the Most High has put his spirit on us to be sitting over here worried about shit that ain't really got shit to do with us, so-called personally, more or less to say, because I ain't got no kids that this happened to or nothing like that. But at the same time, or I ain't a so-called Native American. I ain't a so-called Mexican. I ain't a so-called Venezuelan people. But what? He put our spirit on us to be not only taking up for, not thinking of us as an individual thing. Let me think about me, myself, and I. No, we talking about what the Most High's plan is for his people. All right. All of his people, not just a small group or whatever, whatnot. So, hey, man, the Most High said, look, you touch my people, man, you gonna have to pay for it. I'm gonna put my anger from the shit that you done did to my people. You know what I'm saying? Or just imagine you as a parent. You got some adult grown ass man who wound up, let's say, slapping your little kid or whatever, whatnot. Now your kid come home crying. You know what I'm saying? Your kid hurt, and your kid probably want, you know, to get some retribution back on him. But, you know, as a parent, as a dad, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, yeah, my kid could hit you back, but it ain't gonna really phase you. Let a real man get up in there and then let me show you like that. You see what I'm saying? This is what the Most High is about to, Slack you. This is what the Most High has got planned for these Edomites, man. So you can't sit here and strain at a gnat when you hear the men of the Lord out here be raised up in their spirits and shit like that and so on and so forth. This is how the Most High feel. If you mad and upset or afraid of how we speaking, you damn sure don't want to meet the Most High. Because see, we just preaching and telling you what the Most High finna do. The Most High finna goddamn flood this whole not to say flood the whole planet Earth, but he finna flood this whole place with fire over here, man. Alright, he finna turn this bitch into the lake of fire. He about to rain down thermonuclear missiles on this bitch, man. Newborn babies, old motherfuckers on the oxygen tank, all these motherfuckers is getting slayed, man. It ain't gonna be no remorse. He ain't gonna have no pity for them. Alright? So what? This is a righteous, man. Let me read the last verse. Verse 17, and I will execute great vengeance upon them with furious rebukes, and they shall know that I am Yahawah when I shall lay my vengeance upon them. This ain't my personal vengeance against the so-called white man. This ain't my personal hatred against the so-called white man. This is the Most High's vengeance and his hatred against them, all right? Oh, shit. Malachi 1 and 3, just to get to the point. And I hated Esau. Oh, let me get it in another place, because it says it a little better there. Well, it say the same thing, but Romans 9 and 13, as it is written, Jacob have I loved and Esau has I hated. Hey, it's just plain in the scriptures, man. So anything beyond that is just, you know what I mean, you actually going off, all right? Because you should be let me get another precept on that. What is that? Ezekiel chapter 9 verse 4. All right. It says, and Yahawah said unto them, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men. All right, now this mark is the mark of exemption. This is going to be the men that's going to wind up being saved, having the Father's name written in their forehead. There's wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. All right, that's the mark that it's talking about, not the mark of the beast. These are actually two different words when you go into the like if I was to tap on this and go into interlinear, but I'm not on the internet right now. So, but nevertheless, these are the so-called righteous men, right? So it says, and Yahawah said, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So if you over here pissed off and you complaining about some shit, you're not doing it in no nice way. All right. They out here sighing and crying for all the abominations, especially abominations, man. All right. Like sometimes you might see me at camp. I mean, that shit be bothering me because we looking right out at the damn sky. And you see all the damn poison that they spraying down onto us, you know, and that shit get me like, yo, dog, I'm not a fucking roach in a goddamn house that you do a raid bomb on and you just spray their ass and kill them. Nah, man, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? The real men of the Lord, they abhorred by these things, all right? They saying something about these things, all right? They sighing and crying in the highways and the byways on these video epistles about this, and it's not in no nice way, all right? The Most High's tired of this shit. We tired of this shit, all right? So these righteous men gonna wind up getting this here mark on their forehead, an exemption from judgment. Let me go down to verse 5, and it says, and to the others he said in my hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite, let not your eyes spare, neither have pity. So the Most High saying, look, kill the rest. Hey, really what it's saying here to translate this is, look, put this here mark on the you know, the 144,000 and the 1/3, the ones that's going to be saved. But to the rest of these motherfuckers, the commandment on verse 5 is being said, kill everything breathing. All right. I don't give a fuck what nation they are part of. Israelites, Edomites, Ishmaelites, kill everything breathing, man. If they ain't got this here mark of exemption, kill this motherfucker, man. Lay his ass down. All right. So verse 6 goes into it. It says, slay utterly old and young, both maid and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin in my sanctuary. And they began at the ancient men which were before the house. So ain't nobody off the hook from this. The only people that's off the hook from this is the men of the Lord that's on the highways and the byways. Hey, like I say here, the ones that you over here scoffing at and straining the net that's cussing out and shit, they the ones really pissed. They the ones got the right spirit to be in the right mindset. That's how the Most High feel right now. You think the Most High ain't pissed the fuck off right now? You think YAHAWASHI ain't pissed the fuck off from what the Romans did to him, what 2/3 of our people did to him, how the people is mocking his name even into the same day, man? You don't think that they pissed off right now? Come on, man. The Most High said, I have long time holding my peace, but now will I go forth as a woman in travail. All right. YAHAWASHI said, the day of vengeance is in my heart, man. All right. You know what I'm saying? This is what they've been waiting on to get back, get this vengeance back. All right. They ain't gonna be in no nice way, no nice type of way, man. Seeing these atrocities and things going out, that should raise your spirit up. Like, let me grab that. Whoa. Genesis 49 and 9. Genesis 49 and 9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He crouched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? So it's like, yo, you the king of the jungle, but somewhere down the line, your ass and got docile. Now we got to sit here and figure out, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what the fuck's gonna raise you up? You didn't have this time frame of so-called Black Lives Matter where they went on a rampage just killing your ass and getting off the hook, live streaming and shit, so on and so forth. You got all this. The minute the Lord is exposing their ass left and right. Them spreading AIDS towards our people, man. These people, with the black mini, what do they call it? African Dodgers, mini Dodgers, and things like that, man. All right, the target practice they got going on, the things they still doing, man. Polluting our water streams or polluting our water sources, or Planned Parenthood. All right, all these different things that they doing to our people, man. And yet our people is still in a docile state of mind, a docile state of being, man. They want to still be here comfortable inside the so-called white man system. And 2/3 of our people, they doing that because why? They comfortable in this here system. Now I'm getting the bag right now. I'm living my best life right now. Don't fuck it up for me. Don't fuck it up for me. Nah, y'all better chill with that shit. Now I'm cool over here with the white man. But you don't realize the so-called white man is destroying your ass, and he's reaping all the benefits that you really, you know what I'm saying, the things that you really producing. Like, hey, I'm gonna have to grab that because it's better said in the scriptures than what I can say. Let me read this. Deuteronomy 28:30. Thou shalt betroth the wife, and another man shall lie with her. Or this is the point. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein, and thou shalt plant a vineyard, and thou shalt not gather the grapes thereof. See, they don't realize 2/3 of our people who want to be comfortable up under the so-called white man, they don't realize that, yo, man, he really eating up off of your back and taking the shit that you supposed to be having. Like, not trying to throw so-called Mexicans under the bus, but let's say, for instance, I don't really see, well, I do see some Mexicans like this, but you'll have some Mexicans that's out there building a so-called white man's house in a white man's neighborhood, him and all his so-called Mexican brethren or whatever, whatnot. And they don't realize that they got the tools, the trades, the knowledge, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding on how to build these big ass houses. But yet and still, they'll never live in one of those big ass houses. The so-called white man is ruling over them. But they're like, well, shit, I got a job. Motherfucker, you got a job, right? He's allowing you to be paid what he thinks is allowed. You have the skills and the trades. You can go out there and build your own house and get your own goddamn housing company, whatever, whatnot, and get paid by everybody else. And you can actually live in your own house, but yet and still, you want to continue on with your job because you think that that's, like the scripture said, gift destroyeth the heart, man. Because he's giving you a little bit of a paycheck. You don't realize your resources is way more valuable than a little bit of paycheck that he's giving your ass, all right? But nevertheless, let me get back into this here lesson, talking about Esau and his damn judgment, man. All right, this is Ezekiel 35. I'm going to just read this all the way through. Ezekiel 35:1. Moreover, the word of Yahawah came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir. All right, Mount Seir is... This is Genesis 36:8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. So when we read in here in Ezekiel 35, all right, it says, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir. It's talking about who? Esau, Edom. All right. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith Yahweh power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee. I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahawah. And you know, briefly touching on that, Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7, talking about the Lord is going to take all these curses up off of us and put them on all of our enemies. All right. This is what you're starting to see happen right now. The Most High is laying Edom cities waste, the infrastructure. Why do you think Donald Trump talking about make America great again? Because let me read this again. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahawah. Just like in Jeremiah, I believe Jeremiah 50 says, we would have healed Babylon, but Babylon is not healed. All right. What do you think the fuck that Donald Trump ran for president on? Making America great again. Why? Because their cities is crumbling. All right. Because the Most High is bringing these curses down upon them from the shit they did to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. And this is only the beginning. All right. It says, because thou hast had, and hey, that's the spirit. The next verse, the reason why he's bringing all this destruction on them. All right. Verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and the time of their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men in thy hills and in the valleys and all thy rivers, and they shall fall that are slain by the sword. I will make thee a perpetual desolation, and thy city shall not return, and you shall know that I am Yahweh. All right. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas Yahweh was there. Now, what two countries are they? Well, first of all, what two people are they talking about? The Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom. All right. When you go through the 12 tribes chart, look at all those people on the charts. Who is really lording over these people? It's the so-called white man. All right. Now, when it goes into these two countries, all right. Well, first and foremost, the land of Israel. That's where we was at. That's where they living at now. All right. These Amalekites, these so-called Jewish people. All right. Now, when you go back into when you go into what is that? Second Esdras. I believe it's Second Esdras chapter 13. All right. It's talking about that that great multitude that went over the sea, basically. In a time of way back in at the end of the Assyrian captivity, right? Because the Northern Kingdom went into the captivity under Assyria. All right. This is why when we was in Babylon, you didn't have the Northern Kingdom there. They went into captivity first. But nevertheless, after their captivity was done there, they wound up coming over to America on not slave ships. They came over to America willingly, and they inhabited this here land. All right. That's why in that scripture it says that they was there until the end times when the others should come. So that's why when you hear about Columbus and them coming to the so-called New World, where a land where no man had once dwelt besides the people they found over here. All right. That would basically be the so-called Native Americans land. All right. The so-called natives land, the Northern Kingdom's land, because they came over here and populated this here land first. All right. But nevertheless, the so-called white man came into Jerusalem and took the land of Israel first and foremost. Then he came over to the Americas and took America as well too. All right. And this whole hemisphere on this side. All right. Because it was only Jake living over here. Only the Northern Kingdom was living on this here side. All right. No Edomites was living over here. All right. Verse 11. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh, I will even do according to thy anger and according to thy envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. And I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. So again, here the Most High saying, look, out of all the shit you don't want them doing to them, all right, going back and rewarding them double, all the shit you was doing to us, man, the Most High going to take that same anger and the hatred that you had against us, and he's going to put that spirit upon us to do the same shit to your ass, but double. All right. And thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, and I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. Thus with your mouth have you boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me, and I've heard them. All right. So, hey, in reality, when they over here talking shit about the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, it's like they talking shit about the Most High. And he hear all of that. So let me read that again slowly. It says, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, and I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel. All right. Now let me jump down. Thus with your mouth have you boasted against me. So you speaking out against the Israelites, you talking about the Most High, and have multiplied your words against me, and I've heard them. Thus saith Yahweh power, when the whole earth rejoice, I will make thee desolate. As thou did rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I'm Yahweh. So the so-called white man gonna be cut off, every last one of them. All right, according to the scriptures. All right. I wanted to grab another precept off of that. Nevertheless, we're gonna go ahead and grab these. I'm gonna grab two more. I'm gonna just close out Isaiah 14 and 21. All right. Now, well, let me rearrange this real quick. We're gonna go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 16. All right. Now, you people asking about Esau, Edom, and he gonna catch salvation. He ain't gonna get it ain't no salvation for him. All right. Hebrews 12 and 16. It says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For you know how that afterwards he would have inherited the blessing. He was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. Now you can read that in Genesis chapter 27, verse 38, and going on down. All right. Thomas, even me, Father, is there a blessing for me? Because he sold his birthright. And you basically, you're going to reap what you sow. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, there's no place of repentance for these Edomites. All right. So how are we going to get rid of these motherfuckers, man? What was that? Psalms 137. Now I'm going to read it like this. We're going to go to Isaiah 14 and 21, and then Psalms 137 again. Whoa. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21. It says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. All right. So this is what the Lord is saying, prepare against them. All right. Well, let me read the next verse. Let me just read it all the way through. All right. All right. I'm going to read it like this. Psalms 137 and 7. Remember, O Yahawah, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundations thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. All right, so this is talking about Esau, Edom, who is also Babylon. So let me go back over to Isaiah 14, 21 and 22. Isaiah 14 and 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So the scripture here is saying, prepare slaughter for his children and cut them off. Let me continue on, verse 22. I will raise up against them, saith Yahawah of hosts, and cut off from Babylon, all right, the name, the remnant, and son and nephew, saith Yahawah. All right, so guess what? Is that seed line is going to be fully cut off, man. You're going to be fully exterminated for the things that you wind up doing, man. Especially for all this hate, like we read, for the hatred that you had against your brother Jacob, all right, against us, all right. This is why the Most High is going to take you out. Let me see. I know I'm not online. I don't think it's going to look it up, but yep, okay. Hold on. Right. This is Job chapter 27, verse 14. Damn, I could actually read this whole chapter, but nevertheless, Job 27 and 14. If his children, let me read verse 13, because I think it says it in the last verse too. Oh, no. All right, so verse 12. Let me. Damn, that's all through the spirit. All right, this is Job 27 and 11. I will teach you by the hand of the Most High that which is with the Almighty will I not conceal. So that's what we out here doing now. We telling you what the whole plan, the whole agenda of the Most High is. We not hiding nothing. We not hiding that. Look, God is all about love, so on and so forth, and this and that. And one day you find out he just coming through and killing everybody. No, we telling you that first and foremost. Hey man, the Most High is a power you don't want to play with. All right. It says, behold, all ye yourselves have seen it. Why then are you thus altogether vain? All right. Our people see what's going on. You know that how when you fuck up, you wind up catching judgment some kind of way. Well, go around, come around. Karma is a bitch. So the so-called white man can't be doing all these atrocities and doing all this wicked ass shit and not get away with it. All right. It says, this is the portion of the wicked man with the Most High, and the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive of the Almighty. So this ain't my words, what I'm trying to do to them, what the so-called black man is doing to the so-called white man. No, this is the heritage of the oppressors, which they shall receive from the Almighty. We just the tools that which the Most High going to enact this on them with. Just like how we want to catching our punishment from the Most High. All right. Esau Edom was the tool to do that with. All right. It says, if his children be multiplied, it is for the sword. If his offspring shall not, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widows shall not weep. All right. So, hey, at the end all be all, Esau Edom gonna be fully cut off for all his atrocities he's done against the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Man, the Most High is stirring up our memories for all the things that he's wound up doing to us, bringing all these different atrocities out the woodwork and showing forth all the wickedness of the so-called white man, fully exposing his ass, man. All right, now your ass is all your charges being brought out in court. And soon enough, the Lord's, hey, not to say soon enough, the Lord is already bringing down judgment on your ass. Look at your birth rates. Look at how many of your people dying from suicide and fentanyl and heroin overdose and liver cancer from drinking themselves to death, man. Look at your countries falling apart. Look at all your allies. They all turning on your ass, man. This is what's going to happen to the so-called, this is what is happening right now to the so-called white man, but this is only the beginning. These are all the beginning of sorrows for your simple ass too, man. All right, but it's going to get way worse. With that, I'm going to go ahead and close out Lord willing. This here lesson was edifying into the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahawashi, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong and shalom.